So anybody can reflect upon the basic concepts which we talked about yesterday. Basic concepts of OB. Number one, individual differences. Number two, a whole person or a complete person. Number three, behavior is always caused. And then number four, individual dignity. Number five, organizations or social systems. Number six, mutual interests. Number seven, holistic OB. And similarly, we had seen yesterday the models of organizational behavior. Organizations are distinctly known for certain models adopted in order to run the business, like autocratic, custodial, supportive, and collegial. So these are the four models that organizations, either in combinations or individually, they can adopt. Possible. So yeah, based on the models, you would see that how managers behave and also how employees behave. Now, when we were talking about nature versus nurture yesterday, or heredity versus environment, the topic called personality is well connected to that. You think personality is controlled by your genes or by the nature in which you live? It's a very important question. Anybody can, and therefore we'll move further. Do you think personality is determined by the heredity or by the environment? So keep that question reserved. You can answer it later also. So if you are able to see the screen, you will notice that there are so many types of masks. Particularly during Halloween time, Westerners would wear variety of masks, varieties of costumes, and they celebrate it. Particularly in the nights, they celebrate it. Very peculiar festival it is. So everybody wears masks like this. So these are basically from that Halloween. And then in our country also, during festivals time, people wear masks. And then during birthday celebrations, you would have seen kids wearing masks. Then pandemic also forced us to wear masks. So what is the significance of this mask? So when we are talking about the concept of personality, there's a lot of connectivity between the mask and our personalities. The word personality is derived from a Latin word called persona. And persona means mask. So now I think by now you're able to understand the meaning of personality. We are all wearing masks. So what is outward appearance is what we call the mask. But what is behind this mask is your actual personality. So personality is not what we present, but personality is what we manifest during our work time. As we are working, as we are behaving, the actual personality comes out. The decisions that we make, particularly based on your personality, you make certain decisions. So that's the connection. So we are wearing varieties of masks, hundreds of masks. Today you remove one, and then tomorrow you're wearing another. So as you keep removing one by one, it might run into hundreds of masks. What does it mean? Right from our childhood, we are acquiring so many characteristics, one after the other. They're piling up, and then whatever is most latest is your latest mask that you're wearing, or that is called your latest personality. But there are so many other personality characteristics which are hidden beneath the older masks. So as you keep removing one after the other, your actual characteristics are all visible. That's the purpose of this subject, and that's what yesterday I had asked all of you to take those tests. I hope everybody has completed those tests. The purpose is each of those tests is like removing a mask. If you had taken all of those tests, I'm sure the subject becomes more meaningful to you as I move further from slide to slide. If you had not taken the tests, I think it's once in a lifetime opportunity. You missed it. It will never come back to you again. I can guarantee that, because the day passes you by, and then you have many other things to do for the next day, and the old things are piled up underneath. And when should you get a free time, leisure time to do those exercises? I wonder. It doesn't come again. So that's how our modern lives are. We have many things to do. Unless you do things in real time, you'll not be able to do it on a leisure during the leisure time. So with that note, let's move on. What is called personality? The most simplest way of understanding personality is a combination of traits. What do you mean by traits? Traits are called distinguishing characteristics or qualities. Qualities which are very, very distinctive, or individual's distinctive character is called personality. The way you are known to the people around you is what the personality is branded as, or your personality is expressed as the way you lived with the people, the way you treated with the people, the way you behaved with them, the way you have performed your work with them. So others, it's for the others to know what are your traits, because others are the reflectors. They are like the mirrors They reflect your traits which you manifest. So why this topic is so important? As we move further, we will see that traits are distinguishing characteristics. As I said, trait is a way in which we perceive, we feel, we believe, and we act. So all the distinguishing characteristics, for example, some of you are shy. That's a distinctive characteristic. Some of you are extremely bold. That's your distinctive characteristic. Some of you easily mix with people. That's your distinctive characteristic. Some of you are always isolated, withdrawn. You don't easily move forward. You don't take initiatives. Some people take initiatives. They are distinctive characteristics. Some people are always angry. That's their distinctive characteristic. Some people never show their anger. That's their distinctive characteristic. So we have quite a lot of traits or characteristics which we really do not know. According to normal distribution theory, 95% of people in this world, they die without knowing much about themselves. Only 5% people would have explored understanding about their own inner qualities or traits. Now, since yesterday you have done those exercises, there were quite a lot of tests I had asked you to take. Now, those tests would have given you an opportunity to know something which you didn't know so far in your age, in your life. What kind of a person are you? So probably I would have given you 10, 12 tests. Each of those tests would have told you who you are, which you didn't know until recently, until yesterday or until today. Yeah, because these are very scientific tests. They give 95% of realistic picture about your traits, which are hidden actually, which are hidden under the mask. And then you're removing the mask one after the other using these tests, and that's the way you would know who you are. So these qualities are very, very important because your ultimate behavior is determined by these qualities. Like as I told you, somebody takes initiative, somebody doesn't. Somebody is just watching. Like for example, on the roadside, you are standing and then someone else met with an accident, fell down. What will you do? Will you immediately move forward and help him out, or will you simply wait? There are two kinds of people when it comes to a situation like that. Somebody would immediately call the ambulance and then attend to that gentleman, give some kind of first aid or support him, give him some water, ask him, make him sit on the footpath, and so on. And someone is just watching while passing by. It's possible. There are two kinds of personalities. So what is distinct is always visible. Now, how many of us are of that type? Like when there is an emergency, serious situation, you're just passing by, you're just watching, but you're not taking initiative. That's your distinctive quality. Whereas somebody else would have gone forward and then helped that person out. That's his distinctive quality. There's nothing called right and wrong. People may brand your personalities right and wrong, but these are very important for a manager. You have to know who you are first of all. Unfortunately, our problem today is we always want to know about others more than ourselves. Like for example, what is happening in our neighborhood? Why those neighborhood people are fighting each other? What is happening? What kind of stories are they? So we are worried more about others' qualities than our own qualities. That's so unfortunate because nobody told us before. And since you never knew much about yourself, in any job interview, the first question that they put to you is tell something about you, and you fumble. You can't even speak for 2 minutes about yourself because you never tried that before. What if they ask you in an interview, tell something about your father? I'm sure you will talk 1 hour more about your father. Or tell something about your friends, you will talk too much about your friends. You can talk anything, you can talk much about anybody in this world, but not yourself. You cannot talk about yourself because you never attempted to know who you are, what kind of a personality you have, what kind of a nature you have, what kind of struggles you have experienced. You cannot express them in words because you never did it before. So this is the power of this subject. One should know scientifically what kind of a person are you, and that's what we have made an attempt yesterday with those online tests. You can even let me know whether some of those links working or not, whether all of them have really worked or not. I'm also curious to know. So with that note, let's move forward. Personality can also be known by a person's style of interacting with the world. Some people are very jovial, some people are not. Some people easily move around, some people don't. Some people are known for enjoying life, some people are always known for being sad, as if they've lost the whole world. So therefore, this style of interacting with the world or with the environment is very, very distinct in people. And therefore, personality could also be called relatively stable set of characteristics. When I say relatively stable, you can change your personality. It's possible. But they are very stable because if you are a shy type right from childhood, even after 20 years, you're still a shy type because it is a stable quality. But it can change. It can change. But it doesn't immediately change. It takes quite a lot of efforts to improve upon it because it is deep rooted in your DNA. So it's not that easy to overcome those qualities. But you know that you're not supposed to have that quality. But you have acquired it right from your childhoods. It's also because of parental influence. Your parents never took you out never help you mix with others. They never encourage you to play with neighborhood kids. They were just ignorant of whatever you're doing. So you're always confined to your bedroom. You're always watching your TV or computer, and you don't mix up with anybody. That's how you grew with your personality. But it is not part of DNA. Shyness is not part of DNA. Fear is part of DNA. Reflexes are part of DNA. But shy types are not part of DNA. How many of you know that in Islamic cultures, they teach children not to be shy type? And in Jewish religion culture also, Jewish culture also. In Jewish culture, they particularly teach children never to be shy types. And they teach children to be very, very forthright. Very, very forthright. That means very, very bold in their speech. That's how those children were taught. So across the nation, you will not find those kind of people, shy types, because that culture is like that. In Arab culture also, it's very difficult to find people who are shy types in Islamic culture, because the religious teachings are like that. You're not supposed to be shy. Does that mean that there are not shy kids? They will always be. But because of the religious training, they are overcoming that quality. So what does it mean? The set of characteristics are relatively stable, and they don't that easily change. But as long as they are in you, that influences your behavior. So if you're a shy type, you will always be sitting in the last benches, and you don't want to take initiative. You will never step on the stage. But those who are not shy type, they will always enjoy on the stage. They will pick up the microphone. They'll start entertaining the audience. They enjoy that because they are not shy types. But what if you are a shy type? You should know how to overcome it. And now only the time. Now is the only time, not after the college days. And we all differ from one another in many ways, and not necessarily in many ways, but also over a long time we differ. That means personality qualities are not one and the same. There may be group of people having similar characteristics, but all do not have the same characteristics. That's what this concept is all about. And as a manager, as a student of management, your job is to understand your own personality, and therefore it influences your behavior, and also your subordinates' personality, and you're expecting them to behave in consonance or in reality with the workplace demands. So what if they're not doing it? You have to help them overcome it. That's what they're improving upon their personality. There is a theory which says that personalities cannot develop because they're relatively stable. They don't easily change. It takes years for someone to change. I'm telling you, I'm a shy type, but it took so long years for me to overcome it. But still, even today, I am still a shy type because that has not gone away from me. So I am always pretending not to shy. That's what everybody attempts at. We pretend not to be a shy type. That means we are trying to wear a mask, which is not a true mask, and we are here hiding our shyness quality by wearing a mask called boldness. So it's a fake boldness, which is not a true, genuine boldness. But nevertheless, we keep differing in all our qualities, in all our set of characteristics, and over the time, and also in various places. As I told, in Arab world, they are different. If you go to Thailand, they're all very, very peace-loving people. You don't find anybody aggressive. They don't shout at people. So you can still find those qualities. Region-wise, they keep varying. So let's now summarize the definition. Personality is the sum total ways in which an individual reacts and interacts with others. So we can understand each other's personalities only when we talk to each other, only when we are in relation with each other. So this is a very, very important way of looking at what is called personality. So more often than not, during an interview, it happens. That's the first time you're coming across a person with whom is likely your colleague or your subordinate. In some organizations, even people interview their bosses, likely bosses, future bosses. In some organizations, whereas in some organizations, your colleagues, you're interviewing your likely colleague. That is their practices, recruitment practices. So personality can be enduring characteristics that describe individual behavior. When I say enduring, they stay for a very, very long time. It's not that easy to change our personalities, and they are determined by, as I told you, heredity and also environment. Now, as I told you in one example, on the roadside you are standing by, and then someone met with an accident. What would you do? That is a situation. So in that situation, your actual personality comes out. Even if you're a shy type, your shyness is only one mask that you're wearing, but you rush to that place, overcoming, you forgot that you are a shy type. So a situation also can change your personality. But what if you're repeatedly witnessing horrific situations? Your personality is definitely changing. If you keep on seeing dangers in life, you become very immune to that. If you are very peace-loving kind, all through your life you have always been peaceful, and suddenly when there is a disaster in your life, you are completely shattered because you were never exposed to that situation. So heredity, environment, and situation, all three of them can determine your personality. What we'll do now, you can just check your personality. One simple exercise that we will do: take a plain sheet and draw a picture of a tree. I'll give you only 2 minutes. In 2 minutes, you have to finish it. Imagine if you are a tree, how would that tree look like? So your time starts now. If you want, you can also show that tree through your camera so that I can also see them. So do it quickly. 2 minutes time I'll give you. Anybody is ready? You can raise your hand. So I'll stop my screen and then you can try to show it quickly through your cameras. Go ahead, Jason. I think that's the easiest way of drawing. That's okay. Fine. I'm able to see Jason. That's okay. Let's move through. Who's that? Shiva, right? I think it's not much visible, Shiva. Can you make a little closer? Oh, it's a date. I think palm tree or some date. I think palm tree, I suppose. Fine. That's okay. Anybody else? Probably others are still drawing, I guess. Sravani, are you ready with it? Srilata? Okay, so we'll move now. How do we understand our personality with a simple picture of a tree? Because imagine you are asked to draw a tree, visualizing that you are that actual tree. So how do you project yourself? Now I have seen Jason and then Shiva's pictures. Now Jason had drawn the tree with a lot of thick branches, thick leaves around. In fact, the leaves are not visible. Whereas in case of Shiva, it is like a palm tree. The leaves are also not visible there. It's only like the stems or the branches visible. Okay, so how do we understand ourselves using a picture like this? In fact, in all philosophies, in all poetries, human beings are considered as trees or plants. Now, how do we understand our personality using a tree? I can imagine if you have started drawing the tree, from where did you start it? Just check through. I will be narrating it and you can check through whether it is true or false. How many of you have drawn your tree right from the roots? You can check it. If there are roots, that represents your importance attached to your family. Then the next element of the picture is the trunk of the tree. Naturally, everybody will draw that, and that trunk represents you as an individual. And then as you move forward, the next element in the tree is the branches and the leaves. Now, I've seen Jason's tree. The branches and the leaves are not distinctly visible. It's like a thick bush. Just you have given the stroke in such a way that it is something like outer lining of the tree, inside of which you have the leaves which are not visible. So branches are also not very distinctly visible. Whereas in case of Shiva's picture, you have seen the branches are very visible, but the leaves are not. So opposites, in fact. So what does that mean? The branches and the leaves represent your relationships and the way you talk to people around. It's like how you communicate with people around. So if you are not showing branches and the leaves around, so you are very less talkative, and then you don't easily relate to people around. That's how the message is. And then the next element in the tree, you can guess there must be some flowers or buds. If there are some buds and flowers, they are your hope for the future. So if you are not drawing them, you are not giving importance to the hope. The future is always bright. That's what we call hope. Hope is another quality, personality quality. There are some people who always hope for better things. Yeah, things are going to do better. That's what they always stop. Otherwise, some people say, I don't know how future is going to be. That's another personality quality. So hope can be positive as well as on the negative side of the hope. That means hopelessness, hopefulness, and hopelessness. These are the two extremes of that personality, because personality can be measured on a scale on extremes. Now, if there are fruits, if anybody had drawn fruits on the tree, that represents your accomplishments in life. So there are distinct qualities. You give importance to achievements. If you had not drawn the fruits, that means you have not given importance to your achievements in life. Now, there is a possibility that somebody would have drawn the fallen leaves or the fallen fruit. Possibility is there. So we always share our fruit with others. And fallen leaves also represent our failures in life, or losing friends, losing relatives, losing the loved ones attached to you for so long. So broken branches, fallen leaves, say anything is possible while you're picturing yourself and drawing it, because they're coming from your subconscious levels. Whatever the elements of the picture that you had drawn, all of them would come from your subconscious levels. How many of you have really drawn a bird nest, or birds inside of it, or eggs inside of it? Think about it. So what does it mean? That somebody is depending on you in this life. So you have to take care of people who are depending on you. Maybe your children, or maybe your elderly parents, or anybody else for that matter. It's very important in our lives. We must take care of people who are less advantaged or disadvantaged. Now you start how personality is 35 years, maybe 35 years ago. Yeah, maybe 35 years ago. Is anybody trying to log in? That's okay. Fine. So I remember in one of the classes, my professor had shown a picture. I still recollect that picture, because those days we didn't have these technologies. So he brought a photocopied image of that from a book, and he stuck it to the board, chalkboard, and then he wanted us to watch that and then narrate in the written form. So what was that picture all about? The picture was all about a farmer. He's looking into the sky, and there was we didn't know whether it was a sunset or sunrise. That was the picture. A farmer would have his farming tools in his hand, and then he's looking to the sky with his head lifted up, and then his hand on the forehead, watching through the sky to the sky. So, and then he wanted us to interpret that picture. If you were to do that, what would you do? What is your impression? Anybody can speak out. Anybody can speak out. Yeah, Shiva.
Yeah, sir. Actually, I think he's happy about some, and he wants rain. I think
He wants to.
he wants to rain.
Actually, he's expecting rain. Okay,
Yeah, he's expecting rain. And,
so I can understand now that since you're expecting rain, you're waiting for some help.
yeah, sir. Yes, sir.
So without rain, it's difficult for a farmer. So that's what your mind is reflecting. Now, anybody, let us see how others would react. Anybody wants to react? Kavya can react. Jason, would you like to react?
He can be thanking for all the things.
So he is looking to the sky with thankfulness. Okay. Yeah. Srilata, you want to comment? Srija is there. Divya.
Yes, sir, I'm there, sir.
Yeah. So you can comment, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So what is your impression about that image?
Maybe he's thankful, sir.
Like Jason said. Okay.
As he got the rain and the crop he got, so I think he's thankful.
Okay. Can you guess what I had told my professor 35 years ago? Can you guess? Anybody? Because there can be many interpretations of that picture. That's what he wanted to prove in the class, that we all interpreted that picture according to our backgrounds, according to our mindsets. So all our characteristics are emerging out. So I told him that this farmer is looking to the sky, then there is a sunset, and then he is looking to the sky to know or to regret that he has a lot of work to do, but the day is ending. That's how I interpreted it. And then somebody else was interpreting it, that thankfulness for the sunrise, and he is ready for the work. It's a very positive, optimistic picture. Somebody interpreted it. So you can imagine that somebody who's interpreting it is a very optimistic fellow. Like saying that this farmer is thankful, like Jason said, thankfulness. Then Srilata or someone else also said that this gentleman is thankful because it's a wonderful day. He is getting ready to work. So you can imagine one picture can extract so many personality qualities of each other as we interpret it. Anybody also can try out Yeah, like she said, expecting a rain. Shiva said, expecting a rain. Yeah, so it's also positive that you have finished your work and now it's up to God. That's the way Shiva thinks. So I have to do my work and I expect God to finish it. So we can interpret it in many ways because it's all in our mind. It's all in our experiences. Any other possible interpretation anybody can try from your class? Could there be any possible interpretations apart from whatever we have tried out? Fine. So I guess you don't want to, but that's okay. So what we'll do now, we'll try to see some of the personality tests because each of them, as I told you in the previous discussion, like each of these tests would remove one of your masks, which was hiding some important qualities of yours. So the first one, when the most popular today, even in most of the IT companies, banking companies, or banks, when they're recruiting people, they're conducting this test called MBTI. Myers-Briggs Type Indicator, MBTI, and very, very popular test. Now it taps 4 characteristics and classifies people into one of 16 personality types, only on 4 characteristics. So as I told you, each characteristic is like a scale. On extreme ends of the continuum, you have those descriptors they are called. So each characteristic has 2 extremes of descriptors on a scale. Like what are those 4 characteristics? The first characteristic is called extrovert versus introvert. ERI, it's called ERI. So extroverted or introverted. So extroverted, who are extroverted people and who are introverted people? Extroverted people always get information from outside of their mind. They get information from the environment for their decision making. Whereas introverted people, they get information from within themselves. They always dream, they always visualize, they always think, they always bring information from their heart out. And that's how they make decisions. So that's the difference. Extroverts, they always get information from the environment and that helps them to make better decisions. Whereas introverts, they keep looking inwardly inside their heart and they do a lot of analysis inside their own heart and they extract information from their heart. And that's how they make decisions. Now, the next one is called sensing versus intuitive. I will not explain all of them because I want you to depend on your own reading more. But these are some of the qualities. And as I told you, this is the most popular test. In fact, I had also sent you a link. I'm sure by now some of you, or maybe I expect that all of you would have done this test. So once you finish up with this test, you would be given the result, the output would have given you some combinations of these alphabets like E or I, S and N, T and F, P or J. So you would be given 4 of these alphabets like ESTP or INFJ, or it could be any combinations like ENTP or ENTJ or ISFP, any combinations. So you will be known by those 4 alphabets after taking this test. My personality is INTP. INTP. I have taken it almost 10-15 years ago. So my personality is INTP. Now, if I do this now, probably some of those characteristics would have changed, but I have not taken this test in the recent time. So, but you are doing it for the first time, so you would know your personality is a combination of these characteristics, like these alphabets. So now what you must do is, anyway, we have quite a lot of description here. You can see here, there are about 10 tests which I had asked you to do. So put them in this format. So test number 1, 2, 3, and 10. And then each of the tests describes who you are. So if you take it, at least you would know that 10 times who you are, which you never knew so far in your life. That's the beauty of these tests. Now we're getting back to MBTI. Both a mother and a daughter have invented this test. That's why it is named after that mother and daughter. So Myers is the daughter and Briggs is the mother. That's the name, their family names anyway. So they both together invented this personality test, and it's a very, very popular test today. Now you can see here, extraversion, introversion. They speak out, they think through. That's their introversion, always inwardly. So that's how their energy is. So when you're talking it out, you get your energy. When you're thinking through it, you get your energy as introverts. Now sensing, intuition. Now sensing, these are the people who always take information using certain specifics. They need all concrete numbers and things like that. Whereas intuitions, they'll always take information through a big picture. And then what about thinking and feeling? These people make decisions based on, thinkers make decisions based on logical implications. They'll apply a lot of science and cause and effect reasoning and things like that. Whereas feeling, people who make decisions based on feeling, they would always say, how does my decision impact people? They'll think like that. And then finally, judging and perceiving. How do you organize your life? So people who are judging, they always want to finish off. They enjoy closing. I have this kind of a personality. Any problem solving, if there is a meeting going on seriously in the office, as I'm participating in it, I let everybody talk, and when I propose a solution, the meeting is over. So I enjoy that kind of personality quality. I can finish any discussions, any debates, any arguments that are happening, and then no more time is wasted. But perceiving, these people are organized because they always enjoy the processing. That means they'll be keep on doing some work or other. I'm sorry, they'll be keep on doing something or other. They keep continuing when it comes to organizing their lives. I've seen some housewives, particularly among my friends. They all through the day they'll be continuously working in their house. I always wonder how much would they be working, because they have this distinctive quality of called perceiving. They enjoy continuously doing something or the other. Whereas I have this personality where I simply want to finish off everything I close. So, for example, early morning when I'm going out, have you got your bag ready? Yes, I'm ready. Have you got your mobile phone? Yes, I got it. Have you got your mask? Yes, I got it. Have you got your hanky? Yes, I've got it. Have you got the money? Yes, I got it. For every question, I would have said yes, because that shows that I will not keep anything continuous. I would have finished everything quickly. So we all have these personality characteristics. So you also would have got these labels today from that test, ENTP or ES, anything for that matter. So you can see here, these are the combinations. There are totally 16 actually. So there can be somebody with INFP, ENFP, INFJ, ENFJ, INTJ, ENTJ, INTP, which is mine actually, ENTP, IF. These are all the combinations. Now for each of these combinations, there is a description. You would know that. Now, what if your descriptor is here? These are all called your descriptors. Now, what if this is your descriptor? Now, if you want to get married to somebody, that somebody's descriptors are here. So you should know what is called compatibility. You can understand now in the Western societies, they get married to each other based on this kind of compatibilities. And whereas in India, we are much different people. We think that astrology will give us compatibility. The stars, whatever you call Tidulu and Nakshatralu, we count that way. And that Hindu almanac, that Pujari will calculate all those almanacs and say, yeah, these two guys will have compatibility. I know you started doubting whether that is true or false.
Yes, sir.
As long as it makes people happy, you just accept it. Because one of my PhD students is a Brahmin priest. This guy conducted so many marriages, more than 100 marriages he conducted. And he used to see that Telugu almanac, and then he would fix the dates for marriage. And then he would also establish the almanac based on your date of birth. And this Hindu almanac is based on the lunar calendar, whereas the Western almanac is based on solar calendar. In the lunar calendar, your dates are different. Your date of birth, date of time of birth, all are different. So based on that calculation, they'll say that you belong to some rishi, she belongs to some other rishi. So if both are different rishis, you can get married. That's compatibility. But if you're from both rishis, you're not supposed to get married. That's the way these guys would calculate. But now they're also masking it because it's money. So they are misinterpreting it because you don't know how to calculate all those things. And they kept it to themselves. They didn't teach these things to anybody. That will undermine their profession. So this guy, as I told you, Brahmin priest. He's a professor today. So he got married, and then when he got married, he had seen all these compatibilities using almanac. And that's it. On the third day, his marriage broke. And then he came down literally crying. And he said, sir, today I realized that I will never be trusting these things. I use them only for my profession, to make my livelihood, because that is my family profession. But I have lost my faith in those things. Then I told him, fine, those things we follow because that is our traditions. You cannot reject them. But the concept of compatibility comes only when you know scientifically like this. So I guess you would have this now. You try this test, the link which I had sent you yesterday. One of them is called Myers-Briggs type. So with whomever you're going to get married in the future, ask that person to take this test. Then you would know your compatibilities. Then you'll understand how useful this test is. You can imagine why your subordinates are not cooperating with you. Maybe your personality in descriptor and your subordinates descriptors are not in compatibility. I think to that extent, this test will help us to understand. We'll move to in fact, using this kind of personality test, we can match our jobs. So you can see here, ISTJ. These guys are called very realists. Accountants, government officers, military officers, auditors, business analysts, physicians, librarians, they come under this kind of a personality quality. I'll send this PPT file to you. You can cross-check yourself. Otherwise, this you can find even on the internet. I remember to have told you my personality is this INTP. You see how perfect it is. I'm a science student. I enjoy using science. I'm a college professor. Though mathematics never I got, but today I use a lot of numbers. Yeah, I do a lot of research. Every day I do some research or other. I'll be helping some research scholars or other. So this, to a large extent, explains who I am. That's called INTP. So yeah, I think I have to send this test to my family members. I would ask them to take, and then I would know whether I have compatibility issues with them or not. So I think it can help us in many ways. This is a very, very popular test, by the way. So I hope you got your descriptor, and then slowly go through which descriptor you belong to later on. Now we move on to the next test called Big Five. It's a very interesting test. In the meantime, let me have some water.
Sir, I got ESFP.
Yeah?
I got ESFP.
Okay. So I'll keep this open, check through. Where are you?
ESFP means performer, sir, the performer.
Yeah. Okay. What
And
else?
yeah, sir, and my Ignis personality is INTJ.
Yeah.
He's mastermind.
Okay. So at least now you have an opportunity to know who you are, right?
Yeah, sir.
Anybody else can also explore? Now I would ask you to later on, anyway, not now. One important question is how many people are there in this world with ESFP? Type like that in Google later on. It will tell you whether your personality is a rare personality or a general personality. It will give you percentage wise in this world what percentage of people have these descriptors. INTP, very small percentage of people in this world. There may be some personality descriptors which are more than 20%, more than 30%, like that, 50%. That's how we use Google. Google will exactly tell you what percentage of people possess the descriptor that you have today. It's a very interesting personality test. Let's move on to the next one, I think, due to the time availability. Maybe we have to continue tomorrow also. There is it's a huge list of personality tests. So let's get into this one, and then we'll discontinue today. It's called Big Five. It's a very interesting test. I hope you have taken this test. So now, according to this personality test, there are 5 important personality qualities. That's why they're called Big Five. I guess it's there here. Yeah. We can also have this description. Yeah. So go back. The first one is called openness, conscientiousness, extraversion, agreeableness, and neuroticism. These are the 5 big qualities. So anybody in this world can be described on these qualities on 2 extremes. As I told you, every personality quality is like a scale, and end of that and the beginning of that have some labels. So you can see here, first one is openness, second one is conscientiousness, extraversion, agreeableness, and neuroticism. So everybody has these qualities in proportions. Someone has more, someone has less. That's the only difference. So let us see what are they. Who are extraversion people? I'm sorry, we have to go from the bottom, right? Openness. So who are called people who are open? So their openness to experience. That means these guys are very imaginative, artistic, very sensitive, and intellectual. So they're always open to some experience. So, for example, let's do it. Some people say, no, let's not do it. That means they're not open to it. Somebody wants to explore, investigate. Such people always have this quality of being open. Now, emotional stability, or it is also called neuroticism. It's a very interesting personality quality. Neurotic, they call it. So, average Indian is a neurotic person. So, for that matter, anywhere else in the world, if you express your anger, you're neurotic. So, but to what extent you have this quality in you? Less or more? So, when you look through the extremes of it, if you are emotionally stable, that means you are very low on this. That means you are very calm, you are self-confident, you are very positive. Whereas on the other side of neuroticism extremes, you are nervous, you are depressed, and you are always insecure on a scale. Let's move on to the next one, conscientiousness. It's like, how perfect or how organized you are, how responsible, how dependable, how persistent, and how organized. In my previous workplace at Apollo, my boss gave that feedback once. If Chandrasekhar is there, I don't have to worry about the workplace. If he is there organizing any function, I need not get up early morning. I can peacefully come straight to the workplace. So for him, I was a very, very dependable person because I'm highly organized. He used to comment, and he doesn't give up. Persistence means you will never give up until you finish it. Agreeableness, that's another important quality. So that means you are good natured, you're always cooperating, and you're always trusting. So there can be 2 opposites. Either you're less agreeable or you're more agreeable. That's it. So you're less good natured or you're more good natured. You're less cooperative or you're more cooperative. Are you less trusting or you're more trusting? That's what we classify two extremes of agreeableness. And then the last one is called extraversion. If you're very high on it, you're very social, you're very gregarious. That means you can easily mix up with people, and you're very assertive. That means you fight for your rights. The opposite, that means those who are low on this, they're called introversion. So they are very less sociable. They don't attend parties. Even if they're forced to attend a party, they will sit in a corner. They don't mix up with people unless somebody comes and greets them. They will not greet. They don't easily move around, and they're very less assertive. They will when they're supposed to say no, they will not say no. When they're supposed to say yes, they will not say yes. That's their problem. So I'm sure your test would have told you where do you stand on each of these 5 characteristics. You can explore them later on. Now I will discontinue the topic for today, and tomorrow what we will do, we will see some of these qualities. So tomorrow we'll complete with this personality testing. So, but for the sake of understanding, if you have not taken this test, once again I'm reminding you, you cannot understand these qualities tomorrow, because I've sent all of these tests to you so that you can practically see who you are through those tests and theoretically understand, and then start making your more meaningful life. So wherever you are low on these personality qualities, you can start improving upon them. That's the objective of this discussion. So I will pause here. If you have any questions, you can ask me. Otherwise, we can discontinue the topic. Anybody has any questions to raise?
Sir, some say that these personality traits change with time. So is it really
As I
true?
told you in the definition, they're relatively stable. So which means they don't change easily. But that's what I told you. Things which happen through heredity, it doesn't change. But things which happen through environment, which means things which happen through a situation, situations force you to change your personality. What if you don't have an adverse situation? Your personality will not change. I'll just give an example. See, everybody in this world can sing, right? But how many people can come onto the stage and sing? There is a situation, but even best of the singers who's got good melodious voice, they are reluctant to come onto the stage and sing just because of the personality, withdrawn personality or shyness. They're low on extraversion. So we have to create a situation which compels people to change. Maybe I can manipulate your behaviors. I can say that you have a wonderful voice. Don't you think people deserve to listen to you? That's the way I provoke people. Unless you show your talent, how are you visible to this world? The world wants to know the talent. We are hungry for the talent. So we can motivate people like that. So what we need finally is a situation which can compel us to change our personalities. But they are stable. They don't change easily, as I told you. Even though I'm struggling, I'm trying my best all these years to overcome the shy type I am. Yeah, I'm putting it, but somewhere suddenly that shyness dominates me. And then I struggle to overcome it for a while. And in that process, I spoil my discussions, I spoil the meetings, or maybe I'm quite silent in the meeting until somebody says, it's your time, you have to speak out. Then I'll come out fighting against my own qualities. So a situation demands that you have to change your personality. Now, in our country, there is an institution called Indian Society for Applied Behavioral Science, ISAPS it is called. They conduct 2 times a lab for about 7 days, I guess. Many times they do it in Goa or otherwise in Jaipur. These are the 2 places they do it. So one should attend this lab at least in your lifetime. And in this lab for 7 days, they conduct in a 5-star hotel. And then it's a little expensive, no doubt, but it's worth attending because your personality completely changes in 7 days. They do it in that way, rigorously. So you can think about it. So go to their website and see how they're doing it. And sometimes they do it in Hyderabad silently. We don't know. It will be damn cheap. If they're doing it in Hyderabad, it will be damn cheap because you can save all your traveling costs. But if they're doing it in Goa, you have to travel. You have to be in that hotel. Of course, hotel you are supposed to be in hotel even if you're in Hyderabad because it is something like more than 16 hours program a day. So it happens during lunchtime. It happens during breakfast. It also happens during dinner. Somebody is watching you, and then somebody is helping you in improving your personality. That's how ISAPS conducts programs. So that's it for today.